So today I am going to be going live with Molly Kubes. She is a divine feminine business coach for spiritual entrepreneurs. I'm just going to hang out with you for a little while until she jumps on. But I'm really excited because I think there's so many things we can talk about when it comes to how we approach our business, our spiritual businesses, and just our spiritual energy in general, how we can shift back and forth between our masculine energy and our feminine energy. And we're going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to be talking manifestation and lots of really great things. So I hope everyone is doing well. Let's see, what today is, the 14th? I don't know how many days I've been in quarantine. I think it's been 32 days. It's a long time to be in quarantine. Who knows how long this is going to last. I hope everyone's doing well. I feel like my life has been turned upside down, but in the best way possible. I've really been able to utilize this time as a time to go inward, to do more meditating, to do more of my own inner work on my own limiting beliefs, work on my business more, which has been really a beautiful experience. And being on quarantine has given me the opportunity to do more collaborations with really awesome people, awesome, beautiful women and men who are on their spiritual path, expanding, growing, and I don't know, coming more into their own enlightenment, into their own power, which is really beautiful thing. So I'm excited for what we have going on today, and looks like Molly Kubes is almost here, so can't wait to have our chat. All right, here we go. Request. Let's get this set up. I'm waiting for her to jump on right now. Turn up on my volume, make sure everyone can hear me. Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I'm excited to have you here too. I'm so glad you're doing this today.
Yeah. How are you? How's it going?
Oh, I'm doing great. Yeah, this quarantine has been very interesting, a whole life shift, but honestly, for my spiritual life, it's been a really, really great time. And it's been exciting because now I can spend more time connecting with like-minded, beautiful people like you that are doing amazing work in the world. So perfect for you. I know you're in Australia, so it's morning there. I've had almost a full day already. It's 4:30 here in California. How's your week going?
Yeah, it's Australia is a really great place to be. I'm actually Canadian. However, my partner is Australian, and we flew down here from Guatemala right before the borders closed, so was super blessed and in alignment with that. And Australia has just been a really great country to be in with everything. I feel they've really been on top of everything, and new cases have like significantly gone down, which is really great, and beautiful weather, which is awesome. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, just been taking this time to go within and also work on my business. I feel very blessed to have created an online business, because I know a lot of people are losing their jobs, and a lot of the normal things that we put our security in have really been ripped away for a lot of people. And I feel really blessed that I chose this path because, it's just really have been like very supportive right now. So it's been an interesting time, I'm sure, for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, I feel that there's been a lot of blessings in this whole experience. So
definitely. I agree 100%. I mean, this is really an awakening for everyone. We've, as a society, as a globe, we've all been go, 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 hustle, hustle, hustle. And it seems like there's never a break, really. And so you either have to be super motivated to do the inner work, to get into your own energy system and do the things that we do as spiritual coaches. But now it's forcing the whole world to do that. The whole world has to slow down a bit and stop. And so I really feel like this is a massive time of awakening for a lot of people, assessing your life and your job. And maybe this is the time to start that career that you've always wanted, your spiritual business, or just get more on your own path instead of just going day in and day out where you just feel like you're living life but not really thriving or in your own power as an individual.
Yeah, definitely. I found that I'm gifting myself the opportunity to go deeper into my spiritual practice more than ever,
Me too.
and how much of a difference that makes, like really committing to yourself, taking that time throughout your day to do your practice, and
Mhm.
noticing how there was a part of me that hadn't even neglected as much as I needed to do. I had neglected parts of it, and um, yeah, the difference that it's really made in my life has been really powerful. And I feel it's just like a really nice. It's been like an opportunity for all of us to cocoon. I saw this like metaphor on that, so that we can come out on the other side and be more transformed. And I think it's really important that we use this time intentionally as well, because we could use this time to really go deep into like numbing ourselves, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
through like Netflix or movies and all this type of stuff, which is fine if you choose to do that. But at the same time, this is such a beautiful opportunity for us to really go within and use it intentionally. And we have the choice, we really have the choice to be a creatrix in this, or we can be a consumer. And, a lot of us always talk about our lack of time and how we don't have time to do this, we don't have time to do this. And now actually, we have more time than ever to do all those things and really go within and cultivate a practice, start working on those things that you've been wanting to work on. And you have the choice right now, to either continue to just like consume and avoid, or to really be brave and start to create.
Yeah, it's true. And I even heard that like alcohol sales are up right now, and I'm like, what are
Oh,
you people doing?
geez.
Are you just at home drinking? Like how?
Yeah.
And that's a choice. It really is a choice whether you choose to, like you said, numb yourself out, whether it's TV or getting on the internet or alcohol or just binging. Like this could be a really
Yeah.
good time to go inward. Now you mentioned you've been getting deeper into your own practices every day, your own spiritual and energy practices. What does your daily routine look like when it comes to, you know, I don't know, evolving your spirituality, meditation? What do you like to do?
Well, what I've been loving to do, because I live right by the beach right now, so going to the beach every day and just getting sunlight on my body, I find is really therapeutic, and doing
Mm,
some qigong. We aren't allowed
yeah.
to sit on the beach right now, so I do like a standing practice, and I typically, if I'm feeling up for it, and most of the time I force myself to do is to go swim, even if it feels really cold, and then do like some qigong afterwards. I find like I went to Thailand a few years ago, where I went to study with Mantak Chia. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's like a Taoist grandmaster. And one of the things that he says to do is to like take the chi from nature and bring it into you.
Mm,
So I like to take the sunlight that is like reflecting off of the ocean is one of the most beautiful things. So I like to like take that beauty and like bring it in. And then I've also been doing a lot of embodiment practice too. So doing yoga, just like getting into my body, being grounded, I have found to be really beneficial for me right now. And this whole experience has been a big collective trauma for all of us, whether we admit it to ourselves or not. We've all been affected by the trauma of this, around feeling safe, around feeling secure, and all those different things. So it's really important to release that trauma. And I find doing like hip openers and yoga and embodiment is really therapeutic to that. So that's really been helping me. And I'm really grateful to have chosen to incorporate that practice into my life, because I see like a massive difference. It's like big releases from that. So,
mm.
yeah.
Yeah, we hold so much energy in our physical body. So getting physically moving is so important to shift all of that energy. And that's awesome that you're able to get to the beach. I live 3 blocks from the beach. And I did go
Nice.
for my walk this morning, but our beaches are actually closed. Like we're not supposed to
Yeah.
go on them. So I did have a lifeguard stop me and tell me to get off the walking
Oh,
path.
wow.
Like, there's all kinds of people walking in the parking lots right now at the beach. And it's just, at least I can walk around my neighborhood. I'm still close to the ocean, but it's unfortunate that I can't actually be on the sand and be out there every day right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think adding in more, yeah, more of that physical movement, however you're able to do that, depending on where you are, where you live, and all of that is really important.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, I know you are a business coach for spiritual entrepreneurs. What are some of the things that you love to guide people in? I know we had a short conversation about being more in the feminine energy versus being in masculine energy when it comes to running a business. And I think that's really huge, especially as female entrepreneurs and in the spiritual world. It's very easy to try and hustle and work and try and shut off that feminine energy that's telling you slow down, do this, maintain your inner practices. So tell me a little bit about how you approach feminine energy in your business and how you allow things to flow.
Yay. Yeah, I'm so happy you asked that question. It's something that I'm really passionate about. I love sharing, and it's not to say that the masculine energy is bad. Like, I think you do have to have action taken. You do have to have some form of hustle. Like, you do have to put in the work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
However, I find that energy is really glorified to the point where we forget that there needs to be a balance, you know? And the opposite side of that is going inward, you know, going within, working on your inner space just as much as you work on your outer space, you know? And I find that like your energy is really magnetic. That's something I love to talk about, is becoming magnetic. So actually, instead of, you know, working your ass off until like your fingers are to your bone, how can we also incorporate the law of attraction and allowing things to come to us? And what that comes down to is basically trusting that you are enough for whatever it is that you are wanting to create, and embodying that type of frequency. And once you embody that, you're going to become a lot more magnetic to whatever it is that you're wanting to attract. So, for example, you could do a lot of like outreach, you know, which is also very beneficial. That's like an outer divine masculine type of action taking energy. But you can also back that up with like trusting and knowing that you are so enough and deserving of the opportunities that you're wanting to attract, you know? And then that combination is like really, really beautiful. So, yeah, I think the people are way more intuitive and psychic than we give them credit for. You know, we think like people in the spiritual world and the 5D are the only ones that have this capability, but actually everyone has it. Everyone's very sensitive to energy, but they don't actually realize it. And I think it's really important that we remember that. And if we're embodying like self-love and confidence and trust, and you know, embodying that we're approaching our business from a soul perspective versus the ego perspective, people can really feel that, and they're going to be more attracted to that. They're going to trust you more because they can feel that essence of, you know, God energy and the soul moving through you versus just like something that's more egoic, you know? And people can feel that even if they're not into energy, even if they're not intuitive, or they say they're not intuitive, or they don't even know what intuitive means. Like, people are, you know? So that's something that I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, we all have that awareness. Like, we're all human beings. We're all more energy than anything else. And whether we realize it or not, we're picking up energy every second of every day from every object in your environment, from the people and things like that. And it's just taking notice of it. And a lot of times people will be like, I don't know why, I'm not resonating with that person. There's something funky about them. And it's because you're picking up their energy. So I think being an open channel, like you said, for divine running through you versus being so stuck in your ego is extremely important in doing well, whether you have a career, whether you're starting your own business. I just think every person needs to be slightly aware of that in some sense. What are some ways that people can, I guess, let go of some of the ego or the perceptions that cause them to be in their ego versus things that they can do to maybe shift out of that to become more connected to their authenticity? Do you have any practices or things like that?
Yeah. One thing I'm super passionate about sharing right now is to because the business that I teach is for any sort of spiritual leader or, you know, wellness practitioner, yoga teacher, any service-based entrepreneur. So anyone who's offering a service. And one of the best ways that you can grow that business is by using social media. So, you know, doing stuff like this, getting on live, sharing your truth, sharing who you are, posting photos, creating videos, all those different things. Like that's one of the best ways and easiest and cheap ways, like free ways that you can grow your business. However, it's very easy to get caught in the trap of like losing your pure intention as to why you're doing it. So one thing I noticed for myself, and a lot of my clients go through this too, is where we realize that there's this part of us that's creating content not from the pure place of our higher mission, and it's coming from a place of validation and like needing those likes, you know. And social media is actually designed to create that type of experience where it like thrives off of social validation instead of like, why are you actually showing up? And what is the message, like your unique soul's blueprint that wants to be shared? You know, that pure energy that wants to come through. Are you really operating in that place, or is there a part of you that wants validation? You know, that wants to do it for the likes, that wants to do it for some sort of fame, that wants to do it for, you know, all these different things. And it's okay if you have that operating, but that will only take you so far. And they say that if you're really operating from a place of purity, like purity is like the energy of the universe, it's infinite. And when you're operating from that intention, the universe will just continue to take you to infinity, will just allow you to grow with it, you know, ever expanding. And if we're trying to go from the ego, from a place of validation, from a place of, you know, like fame and all these different things, then it can only take you so far. You know, it will allow you to grow, it will allow you to be successful, but it will only take you so far. And it's really important that we separate ourselves from that and really get in touch with our hearts and our soul, and that why are we doing what we're doing, and really make sure that we stay in that place. And that's why having a personal practice is so important, because then you can really understand and be discerning, you know, when am I operating from that really pure place, and when am I operating from this like needy type of energy that isn't actually serving myself or the collective, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's huge, because if you don't have your own personal practice, like you said, where you're becoming self-aware of those kind of things, it's easy to fall into that trap.
It is, yeah.
I mean, social media is designed to be addictive. Like they know exactly, they'll actually hold back likes and release them to you all at one time, so that it's like this hit of adrenaline, and then it makes you want to come back for more. And
God.
It's crazy. I know, like the stuff that happens behind the scenes, like they understand the psychology and of how humans really work. And so it's so easy to fall into that, but then you end up being unfulfilled. Right. Yep. In the end, you're looking for that adrenaline hit of the likes, of the fame or the attention or whatever it is. And it's fleeting. It doesn't last for very long. And then you keep searching, you keep doing more, and you keep getting this high and then let down. And it ends up being this roller coaster for your emotions, for your soul, for whatever you're creating, instead of, like you said, really coming from this pure, authentic place. And I think when you come from that pure, authentic place, you are so much more fulfilled. Like it becomes your divine purpose in that space.
100%. Yeah, because it's easy to want to, if we're not filled by God, if we're not filled by truth, if we're not filled by source, then it's easy to want to fill that empty space with with stuff that is ultimately empty, you know, like validation, like social media fame, like all these different things. So it's really important that we every day we focus on emptying ourselves of that. And not that it's like we're wrong if we have any of those qualities, because we're human and like it's gonna happen, you know what I mean? And I know for myself, when that stuff comes up, it's the best way that I can transmute it is to honor it and to love myself through it. But it's really important as well to make sure that we're setting the intention to be filled by something higher than us and surrendering ourselves to that higher light, that higher frequency. Because I, as Molly, my ego can only do so much. But if I allow myself to be a vessel for something like that's way more powerful than I am, I'm going to be able to have such a larger impact, you know? So, yeah, so it's really powerful. And I really like how you said about some of the dopamine hits and everything. There's this really cool book called Digital Minimalism. And
Uh-huh.
like I went through my whole personal transformation around this because I built my whole business off of social media. And then I realized that it was like social media was, it was like this beautiful thing, but it's also like this like energy sucking aspect of my life. And I had to really like reevaluate how I was approaching it. Am I coming from that pure place? You know, is this really valuable to me? And yeah, I read all these facts about how it's designed to create that type of experience. It's designed to make you addicted to the validation, to make you addicted to the app, you know, to make you want to be more of a consumer, you know what I mean? And all this stuff. And I was like, oh, God.
It's crazy
And
once you know it. You're like,
I
you can't
know.
ever unlearn it, and you know, you become more aware.
Yeah.
With that, you mentioned you started to become a lot more intentional and assess what you were posting. Were there any other things that came from like reading that book and evaluating yourself in your social media that changed, like the amount of time you spend on there? Like, do you have any rules, any boundaries that you personally created so that you have a better relationship with social media as someone who's running a business online?
100%. I actually, it's so interesting because everyone thinks that when you have an online business, you spend all of your time on the screen. And I actually spend way less time on the screen than I used to because I'm not consuming. That was the biggest thing, is noticing that endless scroll where you're just like scrolling, 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 scrolling. I actually have a Facebook blocker, Facebook newsfeed blocker on my thing. I have a private Facebook group for the people who pay to work with me. And then I have one where I go in there and add value, and it's a free group. And I go into those, and then that's it. And I don't consume other people's content. I do sometimes, but it's like way, way, way less than I used to. I'm way more conscious of that because what I noticed was I would be hanging out in nature on the beach, and I would think was someone else's personal drama that they would post about on their Facebook or on their thing. And I was like, why am I thinking about this person's life? Like when I could be like in silence right now, but this person's life is like consuming my brain. And that was a major breakthrough moment for me where it's just like, oh my God, like this is the content that's in my head. And I don't want it to be there. I want to be more present with this beautiful
Mm-hmm.
nature landscape that I'm in right now with like my partner who's with me. But instead, my brain is in someone else's personal drama that they posted, and now I'm consumed in it. And I was just like, oh. So so now I've like turned off notifications, and I'm just like a lot more intentional, and I try to be more of a creator. And the it's really important that if you're using social media for your business, if you're any sort of leader or anything, that you are a creator. And to be the best creator is you have to be more empty, you know, because it's like creation is coming from God, it's coming from source. Like it's not coming from the ego, it's coming from something higher. And that's actually going deeper into the feminine energy, you know, going into the womb space, going into the void, the 0 point consciousness. And we can't get to that emptiness, to that 0 point, if we are constantly consumed with all of this information that isn't actually of value to us. The only people that I consume are people who I'm really connected to at the heart level, and I really look up to, you know what I mean? And I really think offer a lot of value, and I'm very, very, very discerning of that. Whereas before I would just consume everything. Everything. I was just like, yeah.
Of
And I'm
course.
like, it's
Well,
fun.
that's the easy way to go, right? You don't have to be
Yeah.
intentional about it. You just consume it all and you don't think
Yeah.
about it. But then, like you said, like what are the consequences of that? What are the subtle things that are happening in your subconscious mind? What are you really taking in? And
Yeah.
do you really want to be taking in all of that?
Yeah, because it's like
Hmm.
they say who you hang out with, like the top five people that you hang out with will influence you. Well, what are you
Hmm.
consuming on social media all the time? That is also influencing you. Do you really, really want that to influence you? So really be very selective and discerning on what you're actually consuming because, yeah, that stuff is impacting you on subtle ways that you may not even realize. And you might not actually want that type of energy in your life?
Yeah, it
And
might not be
yeah,
serving you in a good way.
yeah, so it's really important. Also, like I did
Hmm.
a few social media fasts, which was really amazing as well. And like just like not being on my phone at all for like a whole week, not consuming any content at all, and just like really like spending more time in nature. And I did this at right after Christmas and I did a water fast for a few days too. And that was like just like to clear. And I found I came back and I started to create content. And normally it would take me, if I had to be really intentional and write a post, it would take me around 45 minutes. So I'd write like 4 posts at a time and it would take me like less than 4 hours. And then I did this social media fast and I did a water fast and I wrote so much content in an hour. It was like 5 or 6 posts in an hour. I just couldn't stop writing. And it just really showed me how, like, if we really take the time to empty ourselves, how much we can actually create and how much more potent that information and that content is, because we want to
Hmm.
share and impact people. We just don't want to be like another bland, like lukewarm type of thing. We want to impact people. We want to impact the earth. In order to do that, we have to really be in stillness and make sure that we are detoxing ourselves, not just of foods and things like that, but like energetically and what we're consuming, we're detoxing ourselves with as well. So,
Hmm. Yeah, and it's so true. Like I've had very similar experiences where sometimes I'll get into that hustle mode where I'm like, oh, I just got to get all this stuff done. I have to prep all my social media posts and create all these things. And sometimes I just feel like I'm pushing and it takes me so long to get it
yeah,
done because there's this resistance to doing it, or I feel like I have to. And then I've really been focusing on starting my day and my mornings before I get on the computer to work to just to meditate for an hour. And by totally clearing my mind, by connecting to the divine, by expanding my energy outward and really tapping into source energy, then when I come out of it, everything feels so easy. It just flows. It's like the information and the content that I'm creating is more divinely guided versus coming from this
yeah,
force to have to do it. And I
yeah.
think if we all do a little more of that, and whatever your practice is, whether it's meditation, nature, getting your body moving, going into trance, whatever that is for you, I think it's important that we have something to prepare ourselves for creating whatever we are creating. It'll come from a much more organic place.
100%,
Mm-hmm.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, I've been noticing that creative block. There's a reason why it's there. It's like there's some sort of the energy isn't moving through you, so there's something like whatever your practice is, whether that's movement or meditation or something, like you have to like relax that tension and let the energy free flow through you know. I
Mm-hmm.
do find like there is some benefit to like force. Like one thing that I like to share sometimes with my clients is like if you're going to do a task, say you have to write content or you have to build your website or like whatever it is that you have to do, like one thing I recommend is turn off your phone. you
Yeah.
know, put away the notifications, like put that away and like just it set aside 3 hours to do that task or however long you know it will take you, and don't get up and leave until that task is done. Just like until, or at
Mm-hmm.
least until that time is done. If you set 3 hours, just like force yourself to stay there and do it. And I find that actually really helps because it's so easy to let the monkey brain take over where it's like, oh, I want a snack or maybe I'll go for a walk and all this stuff. But sometimes you actually just have to like sit there and be like, okay, I can do this. Like activate that part of yourself that will get it done.
Yeah.
And then that becomes easier and easier and easier, like in the productivity type of flow.
Definitely. I mean, you have to train yourself to get the work done and to
Yeah.
get focused. And I think most people, the focus isn't there. And that's where it's so easy to get distracted because you're, like you said, the monkey mind, your brain and your thoughts are all over the place. But if you force yourself to sit down and like, I'm just going to focus on this, I'm not going to have any distractions, you train yourself to focus on the work in front of you and to be more efficient at it. And once you get into the flow, it's so much easier, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a skill that you do need to train yourself to do. And I think that's great for people that keep finding excuses and never get the shit done. Like you do need to work on that side of it too.
Yeah. And social media probably is one of the top distractions, you know what I mean? Because like you said, there's that dopamine hit when you receive all the likes. So you want to keep checking it. There's like this addictive form like to it where you're like, oh, maybe I'll check and see. And then you get a dopamine hit and then you get distracted and then you watch the stories and
Oh
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
I
So
catch
it's,
myself still. So every once in a while, I'm like, oh my god, I'll have a day where I was like, why did I check my Instagram that many times? Like,
I know.
you know, and then I like remember, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be doing that the next few days, and so sometimes it's a little bit of a roller coaster, but you do have to set boundaries for yourself in order to move, you know, evolve above that.
Yeah,
I actually heard
100%.
someone, there's like some statistic that the average person scrolls the height of the Empire State Building every day.
Ew.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, that's for everything, like social media, websites, text messages, and things. Like when I heard that, I was like, that seems impossible. But then at the same time, I started thinking about it. I'm like, maybe it is for
Oh
some
my
people
God.
what we do. How crazy. Oh, I mean, that just gives you a visual of how much time we might unconsciously lose when we get
Yeah.
sucked in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so interesting. Yeah. And again, like if we, everyone's saying, a lot of people say all the time to me, like, I want to start a business, I want to do this, but I don't have time. And I'm like, if you like, if you took that time that you're scrolling on social media and you took that into creation, you would soar. You don't actually need to consume that much information. Like, what is really the point? Like, there isn't really, like, there are some really valuable people that share some amazing stuff on social media and I love
Mm-hmm.
connecting with them, but be super discerning, you know, do I really want this person's emotional dump on my newsfeed, you know what I mean, and then into my consciousness, and then noticing that you're continuously taking in that information all the time because a lot of people aren't as intentional when they're sharing on social media, and it is like an
Mm-hmm.
like there's an energetic transmission that happens as well, you know. And if you're not if you're like in a zoned out type of energy, then it's easy to take that energy on. I know this was happening to me because I'm a very empathic person, so I
Mm-hmm.
found that, yeah, like it was, I was consuming other people's energy and then I was just like had to like detox like people's dramas that weren't actually mine. And I was just like, oh God, it's really intense. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the same way. I'm a massive empath, so I have to be very intentional about clearing my energy on a daily basis and being aware of what I am consuming. And I think there are some benefits, like you mentioned, just being intentional with who you're following, what you're watching.
Yeah.
You know, something like this is going to feed your mind and your soul,
Yeah.
but there are some content that's really just a time waste. It's not really bringing value to your life. So I think
Yeah.
picking and choosing what's going to serve you at this point in your life and what's worthy of your time and energy, what's going to feed your soul, what's going to help you evolve and grow in the ways that you want to. There's some great
Hmm.
stuff there, but just mindlessly scrolling, that's another story. There's a lot of stuff you can pick up that you just don't need on that end.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone made the comments, quit scrolling, gain an Empire State Building's worth of productivity daily.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
awesome.
yeah, the amount that we could all create, use our creativity, be in our divine channeled energy, that time is huge, you know, compared to
Yeah.
what most people are habitually doing right now.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I've had such a wonderful time chatting with you today, Molly. This has been an awesome conversation. I feel like there's just so much value here. Tell everyone who's watching or listening to this, because I'm going to turn it into a podcast as well. How can we connect with you and get a hold of you? Where do you spend most of your time and things like that?
Well, the most active platform that I'm on is Instagram, so you can definitely connect with me. If you found value in this interview, definitely let me know. I love connecting with you. So just send me a message on Instagram. You can find me Molly Kubes. It's like a ice cube, but with a K. Yeah, so you can find me there. I also have a free Facebook group. It's called Launch Your Spiritual Biz with Molly Cube. So if you are interested in learning how you can bring your business online in a very intentional and authentic way, then yeah, connect with me through there. And I do have a free training as well. So if you are wanting to learn some tips and tricks on how you can launch your spiritual business, just type in 10, like the number 10K highpriestess.com. And it's a full 2-hour free training that shares all of my top tips on how I was able to launch a successful healing-based online business. And yeah, those are the best ways that you can connect with me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today. I've absolutely loved connecting with you, your energy, having some extremely insightful conversation and discussions. I got a lot of value out of this. So I think everyone who watches this and listens to this later is also going to get some amazing value from this too. So thank you so
Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Bye.